Hello and welcome back. I'm Sean Fox and you're watching another episode of Made to Ramble, and on this episode we'll be learning a little something about photography. If you've been stuck using automatic mode and have ever wondered what some of these other knobs are for, well, this might just be the video for you. On this episode, we'll be focusing specifically on the shutter mode. That's the one with the S. Under what circumstances might you choose to use the shutter mode, and how using this mode can take your photos to the next level. Okay, now before we start, just a quick disclaimer. I'm not a professional photographer. For now, this is really just a hobby. I would love to start making some money from photography, but I'm not really keen on a job photographing portraits, or even worse, weddings. So for the time being, my day job is actually a night job, where I care for people with disabilities. I have been learning about photography for a number of years though, and I've picked up quite a few tips in this time which are probably worth sharing. So now, with that out of the way, let's talk about shutter speed. You see, to me, the art of photography is not just about grabbing a few snaps as a memoir of your day out. It's an actual art form, a way of expressing yourself, a way of enabling others to see the world from your perspective. Every decision you make, from focal length to exposure through to how you compose the shot and how you edit it, will affect the way others see your work. So you need to stop and consider every single shot before pressing that shutter button. Is there a better place where you could be standing? Are there things in the background or in the foreground that you would rather not include in the photo? These are all things that you need to consider. And along with those things, you might also want to think about your shutter speed. Okay, so first things first, let's take a quick look at how we use the shutter mode on our cameras. By switching over to shutter mode with the S, we are allowing the camera to continue automatically controlling the exposure, just like automatic, but we're able to take control of the one feature, just shutter speed, which is nowhere near as daunting as using manual mode. And it's an obvious progression from those wanting to move on from auto. So while you speed up or slow down the shutter speed, the camera automatically changes the other settings to keep the exposure the same. This frees us up to just play with the shutter and see for ourselves what a difference this might make to our photography. By increasing our shutter, for instance, we can freeze motion. This is really handy for wildlife and sports photography. While slowing our shutter speed down, we can create the appearance of movement by adding motion blur. In fact, if you can slow the shutter enough, this can even be used to remove unwanted people from your shot. One of my favorite topics to photograph with a really slow shutter speed is running water. If you can get the shutter speed slow enough, which you'll need a tripod and an ND filter for, then you can make the water look almost like cotton wool. All right, well, that pretty much wraps up this episode on shutter speed. I hope that it has proven to be pretty informative, and I also hope that you'll stick around to check out some of my future videos on photography. The next one will probably be about aperture mode. So, until then, if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button down below. And if you haven't already, subscribe. I'll see you again soon.